go in thinking, I'm going to crush this workout. I'm going to have the best 30 minutes right now so that my body needs energy after. Not, I'm going to slug through this workout and not eat before so I can reduce my intake and burn more fat during. Okay? Go into it ready to crush your workout. Have the best workout ever. Why do we have carbs and protein after? Anyone? Recover. Recover. Let's call it recovery. Okay? And also the energy systems that you use from the best type of exercise for weight loss, which is higher intensity, you need carbohydrates to refuel. Protein can help you. So at least protein, but carbs, starches, pre and post workout. So that's, if I was doing the whole 30 and I was trying to lose 30 pounds, I would put my starches, my sweet potatoes, pre and post. Rest of the day, proteins, fats, veggies.
But you have to have pre and post both, or is it just one?
Ideally.
Enough? Ideally.
It's not the end of the world. If you were a bodybuilder, I would say yes, you must. But if you're just trying to reduce body fat or lose weight, it's not the end of the world. But you want to feel like crap during your workout? No. You should feel good. 60, 90 minutes before. The window after is 60 minutes, 3 hours. It varies. Just get some carbs and protein after. Yes.
I was always advised by my running coaches to do a 4-to-1 carb to protein ratio after my workout.
Running coaches. Sport specific.
Is that different for this, and how much so?
I would say for this type of training, 30 to 50 grams carbs. Okay. Before with about 30 grams of protein. Okay. After you can have 50 to 100 carbs, but with about 30 grams of protein. Okay. Realistically, though, getting some type of carbohydrate. If your goal is weight loss, you need to reduce your carbs.
So you're more on a 2-to-1.
Yeah.
Two protein, 1 carb.
Other way around.
Two carbs, 1 protein.
It varies. Sport specific, that's when you need to get specific. This.
Wait, so can you give an example of what you would eat pre-workout?
Pre-workout depends on what type of dietary guidelines you're following. If you're following Whole30, for example, which I encourage everyone to try, a little bit of sweet potato and some chicken breast. Some type of meal composed of that, right?
I think I've had 250 sweet potatoes over the last 27 days.
Celeste is we're gonna talk.
Yeah,
at the end we're gonna cover specific.
And I like sweet potatoes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good, easy.
So an apple wouldn't do. Yes.
Fruit can work. Fruit can work.
Yeah.
It's metabolized a little bit differently than your starches, though. So Celeste is going to give us some specific, more practical, less trainer geeky stuff at the end. Cool. So I got your back. Don't worry. Does that make sense? When do we focus on this? Once we have checked off quality, and then and what have we done with our quantity? Balance it, right? And now we time it. A lot of people want to jump to when do I eat what? Don't stress about it, unless you're.
When's the best time there?
Depends when you can, right? If I said it was 3 o'clock every day, would you be able to do it? Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, John, yes,
Exercising
from
at
the back
night,
row.
So you eat 90 minutes before and you eat after.
There's
By the
rules in
time
it.
You eat after.
What are you focused on right now? Quality, quantity, balance, or timing?
Timing is what
Okay. Have you checked off quality?
I haven't started it, but.
Okay, perfect. There we go.
I mean, I'm doing something.
But does that make sense? Because we want to know those answers.
Actually, I'm already doing quality. It's the quantity and the time.
Perfect. We know what to
And
focus
doing
on.
the exercise.
Got it.
That's the whole problem.
Got
And
it.
if you exercise at night, are you going to be eating too late if you're doing that after? The after exercise.
Let's do a Q&A for that. But
Yeah.
what do we focus on? Quantity next, right?
So,
Cool. Perfect. No, you're right. So, why do we lose fat? A few things. The perfect storm, lower blood sugar. Okay, when blood sugar is high, insulin's released. Insulin stores things into our cells. If we're storing things into our cells, are we pulling body fat out? No. Is that a bad thing? No. There are times when we do want insulin to be released, and protein and nutrients being shuttled to our cells, right? Who wants to get nutrients to their muscles and their cells and recover and feel great after a workout? I know I do. Perfect. So lower blood sugar, that's why lower carbohydrates diets do work well. Does anyone else know why we find that lower carbohydrates get fast or quick results? Little quiz here. Water retention. Did you know that if you reduce your carbohydrate intake, you can retain as much as 3 to 5 pounds of less water? So when you see someone that says, I lost 10 pounds in a week, maybe they were eating an abundance of carbohydrates and sugars, and then their muscles are just empty of glycogen. So they're actually storing less water, believe it or not. Kind of interesting. Low cortisol levels. Where's cortisol? One of the things that cortisol comes from? Stress, exactly. How do we create stress? Our diet, our minute-to-minute, day-to-day, right? Children, sure. There you go. Perfect. There's lots of stress sources. But you can see why it's so important. Because if cortisol is high, or we're reducing body fat, or mobilizing or oxidizing body fat, not so much. Okay? Fat mobilization from exercise. Exercise gets the fat to loosen up, break up, and release and come into our system. And then our metabolism actually burns it over time. Okay? So that's exercise is there to disrupt, disturb, set the stage. Your metabolism, your heart beating, breathing, that's what's oxidized. That's the energy that's being used to oxidize the fat. Okay? And this happens from our hierarchy, right? Not jumping in timing, focusing on quality first and going through the steps. And also, of course, the training plan. Can you lose body fat from just nutrition? Absolutely. What I always say though, if you are either not including exercise, or you're saying, I'm going to run distance every day, you will not have any shape and tone, and there will not be a whole lot left to you after you reduce the body fat if you reach your weight loss goal. Also, if you're not following a progressive strength training plan, are you increasing your metabolism or decreasing your metabolism? You're decreasing your metabolism. So, who here has ever tried running as their training or their exercise for fat loss? Okay? Who here has had a friend that's done it? They lost 30 pounds running every day. Okay? Did that friend bounce back and regain some of the weight? Or if you have done it, did you regain some of the weight? If you are not doing things that add to your metabolism and speed it up, and you're reducing your calories, okay, and then you stop running, you bring your calories back up at that lower weight, are you going to have more weight are you going to gain weight back? Your metabolism slowed down. You go back to your old habit of how much you ate, you're going to absolutely gain weight back, right? That's why it's important that we're constantly increasing our metabolic rate with resistance training. So, your plan and cheat sheet. Quality. What do we do for quality? Whole30, right? Paleo, or any strategy. This is just what I'm personally recommending. Quantity. How do we define our quantity? After 4 to 6 weeks of quality. Harris-Benedict equation. Okay? Gives us a starting point. Balance. What I'm recommending, 30 to 40% protein, 30 to 40% fats, 20 to 30% carbohydrates. Okay? Who here?
If we don't work out for a day, are we supposed to reduce the starch and protein?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I thought I put that in. I'm sorry. That may be in the next slide. Yes. Another thing about carbohydrate intake, if we eat, or if we don't exercise today, are we going to eat more or less carbs? Less. We don't need it. Carbs are more for instantaneous energy. They're important in our diet. We shouldn't eliminate them. But realistically, it should match our activity level. Okay? Because it's fuel. It is fuel for our workout. And we'll want to take a note or two before. No worries. Screenshots with it too. I know, it's terrible. One last note on carbohydrate intake. Would you guys probably agree that it varies person to person? We all know someone in our lives that can eat whatever they want and get away with it, right? That's insulin sensitivity, right? Carb sensitivity. Some of us aren't dealt perfect genes. I'm not. I'll be honest. If I load up on carbs every single day, I'm going to gain body fat. Plain and simple. You just got to eat. You just got to, that is what you were given, and you work with it, right? And then once their genetics slow down a little bit and stop working for them, guess who's going to be all right? We are. So we got the good habits.
Genetics never change.
Oh, yeah, I know. So we often say it's not working. What else can I do? Are you doing quality? What's your quantity? What was the next part? Balance. And then timing. And then timing. I'm following it but not seeing progress. Are you focusing on your quality, your quantity, your balance, and your timing? Okay? Here's another thing. When I do find that someone is 100% committed to the quality of their foods, they've been powering it with quantity, they're 8 weeks in, and they're not seeing the results they want, we simply adjust. Because at the end of the day, you take a set of twins that have very similar genetics, right? One may have a faster metabolic rate than another. One may sleep better than another, so their hormones are firing a lot more efficiently. That person may be burning 300 calories more a day because they're healthier. This person may be burning 300 calories or less. If they take the same identical calorie goal approach, and they're starting to, one slowing down, one staying on course, what do we have the other one do? Just readjust. Then we want to jump to the next number, jump to the next number. Don't. Just let it run its course. It takes time.
But it's the age also, right? Once you pass a certain age,
Sure, that's-
metabolism goes
It's
down.
factored into that equation. Okay. So number 3, reinforcement. This is done through 3 things: community, environment, and coaching. Right? Having someone, an influence, a mentor. Okay. Community. This is why our gym is successful. It's not the training. Training's good. I'm not saying nothing against my training, but the community is why the women that come here are so darn successful, because they come, right? Who here's had a gym membership before? Everyone raise your hand. Come on, keep it up there. All right, was there a week where you didn't show up at that gym? Put your hand down if so. All right, pretty much it, right, I've done it. I have 2 gym memberships. The point is that just showing up is half the battle. Once we get that in place, all these strategies I went over, it's going to get us that much more closer to our success rate, right? Higher success rate. Create habits that are in line with your goals, such as daily exercise. Think if you're going to show up here every day, you're going to work out. Heck yes, you're going to. And make sure you do. And if you surround yourself with those that choose to eat healthy, would you guys agree that you're going to eat healthy? If you choose to go to happy hour on Friday instead of coming here, what are you going to do? Are you going to exercise, or are you going to probably have a drink or 2 if you drink, or maybe eat something you shouldn't? Probably, right? What is it necessarily you going into that situation planning on that, or is it the environment you're putting yourselves in? Right? We all do it. We all put ourselves in an environment, in a position. So our next thing, control and create your environment. I know Weight Watchers focuses on this a lot, controlling your space, right? Who works in an office here, or has an office, maybe from home? Okay. If you put candy on the jar or on the table next to you, are you more likely to eat it than if it's not there? Why? So it's there, right? It's in your environment. It's as simple as that. The more you control your environment, we can do things in our office space, in our day-to-day space that can control it. If there's unhealthy food in our cabinets, are we more likely to eat it than if it's not there at all? We know this, right? It's just being proactive, taking daily action. Okay. And then coaching, having someone hold you accountable, someone that has done it themselves, is huge. Because I'll be honest, one of the most frustrating things for me to see is when I walk into a big box gym that I'm not going to name that I go to, because obviously I can't work out at my women's only gym, and I see trainers giving advice to clients that are completely disconnected in every way, shape, or form. Meathead bodybuilder client, Bruno, 100 pounds more of muscle than me, telling Mama Jane that she needs to eat these foods that bodybuilders eat, and that's the only way that she's going to lose weight. It doesn't make sense, So you have to look at who you're listening to, because we've all taken bad information about trying to reach some goal, right? And then someone that has also helped others, just like you. It's really important. So that is it for what I want to cover. Did that help? Cool. Who feels like they gained something from this? Perfect. So let's take a few questions, and then Celeste is going to come up and go over some very specific strategies on top of the day-to-day strategies, and more so on like her jar salad prepping technique and stuff like that. And also, we are going to be doing a nutrition coaching program for anyone that does want to apply. We'll have applications printed, so if you got to head out early, make sure to grab me, and I'll give you one if you're interested in that. Okay, we'll take care of that at the end. So questions first.
So how do you build in your happy hour? right? Because I don't want to have a life where, you know, I'm not enjoying wine once a week, perhaps twice a week. Is that like impossible? Like, do you say, you know, so I've been doing the Whole30 thing for 27 days. Not that I've counted. And so over this course, I have, at my work, I do a lot of business lunches, a lot of business dinners, drinks, so it's like breakfast, lunch, drinks, dinner. Like I have an opportunity to do that almost every day. So for 30 days, you know, I minimized it.
Right.
Although one day I was at a chef's table, a 7-course tasting menu with a pairing at each. Oh my God. I mean, what is your Italian? It was an Italian restaurant, and the Italian chef, who was so cute, was like, La Signora no mangia, because I wasn't eating anything. And so then I finally, because I kind of wanted to play it low and just sort of pick at my plate, but I had 4 pasta courses, and so I was like picking out the vegetables in it. But so I have that a lot. How do I keep something, both in terms of like work-related things and to feel like it's a lifestyle, right? Because I'm gonna want to drink, maybe not 7 courses of drinking,
Right,
but you know.
Let's say, okay, so let's look at one example. So it's a daily, almost a daily challenge for you, right?
It is.
What is your career?
So what would get you
Lobbying association.
what would get you closer to your goals and empower you more? If you bend the rules for them because maybe we feel out of place or we don't want to let them down, or that's that kind of mindset and attitude. Or what's more empowering? Hey guys, I'm so excited that I'm here at this meal with you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to eat some of these things because I am working towards becoming healthy, happier.
I did all that. I don't care what they think.
Sure.
So it's not about that.
What's
You
the
know,
challenge?
kind of the challenge is, what the hell do I order?
Well,
Like I have to go to these things, right?
You know, it's to enjoy life.
That's not the work thing. So when I'm at work, I have no problem being picky and telling people this or that. But it's like, what happened is I feel like I went to a restaurant, I tried to do the best I can, right? Told them this, but I still feel like I probably wasn't very good enough. Or I'm starving afterwards because I barely ate anything
Can you
there.
special order foods?
Can I what?
Can you special order foods that do fit
yeah.
in what you're looking for?
Well,
Pretty nice restaurant, sounds like.
Yeah, sometimes yes, but sometimes, you know, you're going to a dinner with 30 people or whatever. I mean, you know, it's like, how do I, and it is mindset. Because say I tried to minimize whatever I eat there. So the work mindset is the work events is part of it, but then there is the, you know, I want to enjoy my life as well on the other times of it without going crazy.
Plan it in.
Yeah.
If you plan that in, Friday I'm gonna do it. Saturday I'm just gonna eat whatever I want that day. That's cool. As long as you are checking the box off every other day, that's gonna not get you closer to your goal, maybe that one instance, but if it keeps you mentally sane and that's what it is for you, rock it. You know, just own every other day, every other meal.
So the whole 30 people who did that thing said,
Mhm.
don't plan a cheat day. They said, go through this equation if you're going to kind of go off Whole 30. It was like this chart. I'm sure
Right.
you've seen it. I was like, oh, geez, complicated.
What's your goal? What is your goal?
To lose weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your goal to maintain the whole 30 principles?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
And there's a big difference between, I don't think big, but Whole30 and Paleo. I just retired, as John said, and I started, beginning of October. And I was on the road all the time and all the holiday parties, and I was a manager and I threw half of them. And so, you know, kind of the points he made, as much as possible, try to get the menu ahead of time and or influence it. Like all the admins
I
that
know,
plan
I do
stuff
that.
I attend,
I do it.
always know there's fruit for dessert, even though everybody else is eating tarts and torts and stuff.
Right.
And, you know, just work it really hard and cut yourself some slack. I mean, going hardcore and saying, you know, that in the kitchen they can only cook with these 3 fats.
Yeah.
You can drive yourself nuts, but, you know, but balance it and just, you can influence a lot more ahead of time. Because I work for a very conservative company, everybody follows the rules, and I was like, wait, I want to get myself under control. And I did lose weight through the holiday period by cutting myself a little bit of slack, but as John said, plan ahead.
Well, eat ahead too, like we were just saying.
Yes,
Have your own little hard-boiled eggs, your own apples, your own nuts, have that with you. And then, you know what, I'm a big, I'm a big, yeah, I don't wanna not have a cocktail, so I take the club soda with lime or lemon,
In a wine glass.
you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I played that game too, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does that give you some ideas?
Yeah.
She doesn't know.
I mean, that's some ideas, it's just, it's hard to maintain that
Well,
when you're
sure it is,
constantly in.
absolutely it
Well,
is.
even in.
If your goal isn't to necessarily maintain the Whole30 approach, then find what makes you happy and what gets you closer to your goals, right? And that may include eating whatever the heck you want one day a week. Cool. That's
Well,
fine.
then you feel in control because you know what I would do.
Right, but make sure you check off everything else in your week. Have you exercised every day you intended to? Did you splurge on a Tuesday when your goal was to enjoy that meal on a Friday? Because then on the Friday, is it really enjoying that meal, or are you going to feel like crap the next day because you already, went off your plan or your intention on Tuesday, right? That's the mind game. That's the battle, right? Going into by stress reduction and also pre-planning that makes a big difference. Cool. We can chat after if you want. Any other questions?
How's chocolate milk after our workouts here for recovery?
There's been studies that is good.
But the
I
thing is-
don't personally do that. I stick to whey protein, and that's when I get my starches in.
Okay.
At least whey protein.
That's closer to the 4-to-1 ratio, so I didn't know if that would.
Right, once again, more running performance.
Right.
For training here, you're not using that same energy system, right? Here we train at a higher intensity versus running, which is a middle, sustainable, long-term endurance intensity, so it feeds off different energy systems, okay? So I would focus more on getting your 30, 50 grams of carbs, and then ideally about 30 grams of protein. Whey protein, for example, if you are adding whey protein in your diet for pre and post workout, it is actually insulinogenic, so it will actually raise your blood sugar and release insulin without having to add carbohydrates. And that's why you can get away with just having whey protein.
But that's a
without the
milk
carb.
product, right?
Yes, it is a milk product, absolutely.
Is there an alternative? What do you think of like?
Pea protein, hemp protein,
Hemp, okay. What is that made from a grain?
I don't know off the top of my head, to
The
be
whole
honest.
30 is you're cutting out the grains, the dairy, and the legumes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll be dead honest with you.
I thought hemp was like the grass.
It's a seed, it's hemp seed, right?
Grass?
Yeah.
It's a seed then, okay.
Okay, if I'm coming at 5:30 in the morning,
Mhm.
what am I supposed to have, and when am I supposed to have it before I get here at 5:30
So-
in the morning?
Lifestyle factor, right? 5:30 in the morning is the only time you're getting in. You're probably not going to want to wake up at 4:30. Perfectly fine, okay?
So
There
what
is
can I-
the one supplement I would say, you can do it fasted, nothing wrong with that, okay, as long as you feel good. Okay, you should have enough stored energy or glycogen in your muscles, so you're not going to feel good, okay? Branched chain amino acids would be the supplement I would recommend, but I don't think it's necessary for you, okay?
What about like hard-boiled eggs, or like a cut-up apple and a hard-boiled egg on the way in, no? I'm asking, I don't know.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
recommend
'cause
it.
I
Because
know
you're
I
not
did,
gonna have
if
enough
I
time to
have it too
digest.
quick,
Yeah.
yeah.
Too close.
Fat digests extremely slow in your gut,
Then it's-
okay? If you have fat 60, 90 minutes out or less, you may be okay, but I wouldn't recommend it. Protein and carbs, they digest
So you
quicker.
said 30 to 50 grams of protein, 30 to 50 grams of carbs.
About 30 grams of protein, 30 to 50 grams of carbs. But not essentially, right? Optional, I would say. Cool. Any other questions?
Our issue is rice, John, I know.
Challenge.
It's going to be really hard.
Absolutely. Sub it out. You could get pretty crafty with veggies. I like Brussels sprouts.
Well, and then some, again, it's all grainy, chopped or brought for cauliflower.
I said, the chopped cauliflower,
Right.
there's a lot of
There's,
different.
yeah, oh, Asha, another great example from
Yeah.
Paleo Whole30, cauliflower, what's it called?
Brown cauliflower.
Yeah,
Potatoes.
it looks like rice, tastes
Well,
like
you
rice.
chop it in the blender so it has the consistency of rice, then you put in all your Indian spices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But you know that book,
What about quinoa?
It's a grain. So I'm not saying it can't help you, but as a vegetarian, you're already kind of at a disadvantage because most of your protein sources are attached to carbohydrates, right? So the more you can detach your dependency on the carbs alone, because you're already going into it knowing if I want to get my protein, there's going to be some carbohydrate intake with this as well, right? That's why having the cauliflower versus the rice will cut your calorie intake down and your total carb count down as well, with your nutrients higher.
But we have to cut our legumes and beans too in the whole 30, so that gets us.
I think they make exceptions. Double check
There is
that.
a
The ones that
vegetarian
have the
whole
heavy
30
pods.
site and a
Yes.
Pinterest page, if you wanna look, it has good.
So if you do that, go ahead. So if you do that calculation, so I did that calculation, I've done it yesterday or whatever. So I have 1937.
Okay, times your activity based on
I already
activity.
did that.
Cool.
So
Reduce
is-
at least 300,
300.
maybe 500, depending on how you feel. You shouldn't feel like crap
You need
during
to
weight
lose.
loss. Yes.
Would you eat more than that on the day you work out?
On the day you work out, I would say you can hit that with a, I'm sorry, ask your question again. I'm blanking.
So average on a day, so if 1900 is the number that I had, so average on a day, let's say a 1400 calorie, is that what I should eat, sort of average out throughout the week? Say I'm working out 3 times a week, is that what I should average out during the week, or on?
Try and see how you feel. You will see progress with a reduction as long as you're consistent.
The 1900 is a sedentary.
That's with
That was
activity.
lightly active,
Mhm.
like 1 to 3 times.
Yeah, but if you create a deficit, mathematically create a deficit, and then one day you are not active, over time you will be successful.
Okay, I'm kind of lazy person to cook. My husband does the whole cooking, but I've been cooking for myself. And if you have a limit of how many calories you can take, I usually cook for like 3-4 days, and I just get food from there, you know. How am I supposed to know how many calories I'm taking from each dish that I?
If you want to get super specific, you can measure it. Here's the thing, a lot of the stuff like counting calories or learning the calories of common foods that we eat is very powerful information. Because if we eat those foods on a regular weekly basis, we learn at once what it's worth. Like if you lay down a plate with chicken, sweet potato, and I can pretty much eyeball it and say almost to the calorie what I'm looking at. Because I've done it so much, right? I don't need to recalculate it. Do I track it? Yeah. But does that kind of give you an idea? Once you learn what foods are worth, you can use that information going forward. Okay? Also, you could pre-measure, right? That's another alternative.
You mean
And
like
there's
if you make
also the
pot of
easy,
soup or something?
there's the easy one.
Yeah.
You know, a pound full of every meal, a pound full of protein, surrounded by good veggies, and a thumb full of good oils. And I never counted I don't count calories yet. In fact, I'm in the sustain mode. And that was good enough.
But she's talking about she might make a pot of soup or she might make.
So
Right.
So you
I would say
calculate.
enter it into MyFitnessPal. Enter your recipe to MyFitnessPal. It will tell you the whole nutrition content and
Just
the calories.
break it
And
up.
then divide it into how many servings, especially if you do the servings yourself and make it a serving, that's perfect. Then you know how many servings.
Yeah, it does have
And the
that.
nutrition information.
And you can actually on that MyFitnessPal, like if you have the same kind of salad every day, like you have the same ingredients in, you can actually
Save it as
just,
a
you
meal.
can just copy from one day and move it to another day.
Save it as a meal, save it as a recipe.
Any other questions before Celeste joins us?
I have a question.
Yes.
I've done a couple different diets, I've done ones that were, what I like to say, soy protein masquerading as food, not fast,
Sure.
and whey for, and then I've got another friend who's successful on some new thing where there's a lot of supplements and then it's powdered, powdered protein.
Sure.
And I'm like, I don't do that again, because I know as soon as I stop doing that, or,
Right.
and then I have friends that ended up with, I know I sound like an alarmist, but pancreatic cancer, and I just say, are some of these really unnaturally dense shakes really
Is this a
hard
sustainable
on-
lifestyle?
Are they hard on our organs?
I think you're asking the wrong question.
What do you mean? Wrong person or wrong question?
Oh, just in general. No, you're asking.
I'm just asking, what's the question I should be asking, or maybe it's not something.
What's going to work for my lifestyle, and what's my attitude and habit and relationship with food?
I mean, do those combination shakes that people sell, like you can buy at Whole Foods and this and that, are
Can
they?
you lose body fat? Absolutely. If
But I
you do
mean, are
it.
they good for your organs? Does your organs have a hard time processing these unnaturally dense combinations that they wouldn't normally see in nature?
I honestly, I believe that the closer it gets to real food, the better off you're gonna be.
Well, that's what I think, but it's not what you usually. I know people.
How do you focus on quality, quantity, balance, and timing?
Quality
Okay,
products.
so that we know where to go.
No.
All
I'm
right.
just asking you, can you get away with the other stuff? Can you do the shakes? Can you know?
Do you want to?
Well, you do them. You do.
I do
Whey.
pre and post workout, absolutely. Yep.
And do they have lots of supplemental vitamins? Or something?
Here.
Just protein.
Just
All right, thank you, ladies. Celeste's gonna finish it.
I hope they weren't videotaping.
I am videotaping. I hope he's got mine on here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to start real quick before I go into my slides, mostly pictures. I tried so many different times to lose weight. I mean, a lot. I tried diets, I tried exercising, and when I finally made a decision this time, I'm like, I've got to figure out what is sustainable. Like, what can I actually do? So my big goal was, I don't want to do shakes. I want to do something I can do in real life. I can go out to eat, I can go on vacation. Whatever I'm doing, it's got to be something I'm going to do for the long haul, because this is it. I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to be healthy. That's it. So when I first started with Weight Watchers, because I couldn't even exercise, I had no clothes that, first of all, I hardly could fit into the clothes I had, which is why I decided to lose weight. Well, there's a whole lot to why I decided to lose weight. But, so I had to lose 20 pounds before I could even get a pair of shorts on. So, and that's when I met with John and paired the exercise along with my changes in eating. So through Weight Watchers, I learned that what I thought was healthy eating, right? I thought I was eating healthy. I was eating like so many points, probably I was eating like 60 to 80 points a day. But I thought I was eating healthy, and I was so pissed that the media has been telling you, this is heart healthy, and this is heart healthy, and this has got protein added. Like, what? So in order to eat the 26 points that I was given, I was starving eating those foods. I figured out how to eat 26 points and how to eat a lot of food. And guess what? It was by eating real food. And people are like, what do you mean I eat real food? I'm like, I'm talking about like the most like natural food you can. I'm not talking about a box of something. Like, does a Cheerio that's heart healthy, does that occur in natural life? No. Does your body know how to process that? No. Does your body know how to process greens, things that grow, and meat, and fruit, things that are naturally occurring? Yes. So once I figured out that I could eat a whole lot more, that's real food, and still would eat within my 26 points, I'm like, huh? So then I started exercising. When I starting to exercise, then I changed my metabolic rate. Why? Because I was building lean tissue. So not only did actually when I first started with John, I didn't lose weight as much. I started losing like size. My clothes started feeling better. So at first I was a little discouraged on the scale because Weight Watchers is all about the scale. So I have a love-hate relationship with Weight Watchers. Because really, is it really about the number on the scale, or is it how I feel today? How I look today? How my body, how my mindset is today? It's not.